I did some Instagram digging. So I thought, if they're filming Love Island right now, they would have cast all 12. Then they would have cast their bombshells. They would have these bombshells ready. I have done some digging. Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alexis Blake. I am a trans woman and I share my life, stories and opinions on social media. How are you doing? Hello, welcome back. I have my hair up today. It's really hot in the UK on the day that I'm filming this. I hope everyone is good. I hope you're all having a nice week so far. So today's video, what we're talking about, what we're going to be jumping into. There's some rumours going around that there is going to be a trans woman in the cast of Love Island. For those of you who don't know, I think most people do, but just in case you don't, Love Island is a reality TV show we have here in the UK with each country's own version of it. Lots of singletons go in, very stereotypical heterosexual men and women. Women are generally very glam, men are normally quite muscular, and they just couple up. They then compete, and then if they're still together at the end, they can win a cash prize, I believe. Don't get me wrong though, I haven't seen a lot of Love Island, if I'm being completely honest. I've seen like one episode or two episodes. I just never got into it, I don't know why. I saw a video this week of the beautiful Ella Morgan talking about a trans woman who might be in Love Island. Let's watch it together and then we'll react to some other bits and bobs, because social media, as always, has good things to say and has negative things to say. So let's dig into it.
Have you seen the recent article about a trans woman going into Love Island this year, potentially?
No, I did see it.
Yeah,
I did
so
see
Mimi,
it, yeah.
I know Mimi, I'm friends with Mimi. So she didn't tell me, I had to read it online. I really hope ITV, if this is true, because it's rumoured at the minute, if they do that, ITV must have a really good duty of care and welfare team, because that is such a mainstream show that probably isn't actually watched by a lot of queer people.
And social media, when Love Island is on.
Already, those articles online about her doing Love Island potentially are disgusting.
Ella Morgan, beautiful, beautiful trans woman. I actually did meet her recently at an event. She was so sweet, so down to earth. She is the perfect representation that we should have for the trans community. In her attitude, how she talks, how she conducts herself, she's fabulous, funny and so lovely. So love her. So that's number one. Number two, let's look at who this trans woman would be who would be going potentially into the villa. Michelle Roscoe, Mimi Roscoe, has an Instagram following of 23,000 followers. I don't know why I said that like it's the most important thing. I'm sorry, I don't know why it came out like that. But anyway, she's an influencer. She lives between London and Ibiza. She's beautiful, like beautiful. She fits the bill of what Love Island sort of casting generally goes for. And she is stunning. There is a grey area here, okay, so we're going to get into it now. I'm trying to think about it from both points of view, because from a first point of view, trans woman in Love Island, fabulous news, love that, amazing, great representation. I've seen some of her little videos. I think she would do really well, and I think it'd be a really positive light for the trans community. Love Island is a mainstream show. It's watched by a lot of Brits who aren't LGBT, so I think that would be fab in itself right there. So we're going to park that thought there, and then we're going to push it to one side for a second. Now, on the other side of the coin, the show is obviously men and women getting together. That's the whole premise of the show. My fear would be, and obviously I can't say this certain, not every single straight man is attracted to trans women, but just knowing someone is trans can put some people off. That's their decision, that's their opinion, that's who they're attracted to. Who are we to sit here and tell anyone any different? It's how people put that across. That would be the issue, I think, there. So my worry is, if this is actually happening, she goes into the villa and possibly some of the men aren't necessarily attracted to her, which is very, very okay and understandable. I did get a recent comment, actually. I'm just going to pause for a second. On my recent video, there's something about Miriam, which is the TV show that came out over 20 years ago in the UK. It was a trans woman. She didn't tell anyone she was trans, and then right at the very end of the series, after she'd voted off the men, she'd picked her favourite one, and then she said, I am actually a trans, I'm a biological man or something like that, and she'd not had the surgery. Someone commented, that's deceptive. That is deceptive. She shouldn't have done that. And I agree. It is deceptive, and it wasn't fair on the men. The men didn't handle the situation well when they found out, but it is deceptive to them, absolutely. So I think the full transparency and full clarity is super important. I just want to point that out there on my last video, which also translates to this video. So if she did go in, I'm sure the producers and her would be very transparent that she is in fact a trans woman, a biological male, which is absolutely fine. It's just then how the men react to that. That would be one concern, but I think nowadays it's 2025. I think they would react kindly, like they would be polite about it, because obviously they're being filmed for a social media show, for a reality TV show. So I think they would be nice about it. There's two things, there's three ways that the men could react, okay? The first way, which would be lovely, if they genuinely were attracted to her, got to know her, and the trans thing wasn't an issue. That's the first way. The second thing that would be an issue for me, if they pretended to like her, to get to know her, one, to win favour with the British public because it's a guy getting to know a trans woman, or they scared to hurt her feelings or scared to look like a transphobe. That's bad. And then the third way is they reject her because she's trans, which is fine, but if they do it in a grotesque, harsh, cruel way. They're the different options, and it just concerns me that she is very vulnerable, probably a super strong, confident, beautiful woman. I've looked at her Instagram, she's fabulous. However, she is vulnerable in the fact that she's going into, or if she went into a mainstream reality TV show, she's going to be heavily judged as a trans woman. The first trans woman on this show, which I don't know if I mentioned that actually. And to put herself in that situation, to find a partner, it just makes me a little bit nervous. Sorry, my eyes were down there. The cat was doing something weird. What are you doing, boo-boo? I just worry how it would go down. And then also the after effects of that. Like Ella said, they would need ITV would need a great support team around her to look after her and make sure that her well-being is okay. So let's watch some other creators, how they've responded and reacted to this news, shall we? Because like Ella said, it's not been all positive.
Love Island in talks with ITV show's first ever transgender contestant ahead of series launch. You know, when you can see a car crash happening in slow motion, I feel like this is what it is. I feel like we are going to watch this live in 4K of this transgender babe being rejected because she is being put in a house with males who are heterosexual. You would have thought ITV learned from that Channel 4 documentary called Mariam, The Death of a Reality Star. You would have thought that they would have learned from that, but clearly not. And I can just see it now. They're all lined up around the fire pit and they're all rejecting the transgender babe because you know what? They're not into her. Because they can't get past the fact that she was born a male, which is their right. The only way to get around this is if all the contestants are gender fluid. That is the only way that you would get around that. Other than that, we're going to see guys being put in positions to reject her and then being slewed on the internet for not being into a transgender babe. And it will be through no fault of hers and no fault of his. It will be the producer's fault.
Okay, I'm not agreeing fully. Her name was Miriam, just to point out, sorry. The trans woman on the TV show in the early 2000s, Miriam Rivera. I agree kind of, and it's very nuanced, this conversation. So I agree with where she's coming from. I think she's got the right sentiment. I'm going to slightly disagree because it's really hard because I'm not a scientist. I'm not like queen of the world. I'm not the person in charge. I don't dictate the rules and labels and things like that. And I'm not really a huge fan of labels, if I'm completely honest. It's hard. It's really hard. They might not be attracted to her, which is fine, valid. That's their own taste and preferences. But if they are attracted to her, it doesn't make them gay. Like, she's a trans woman, so it's. I know there's a lot of grey area within sexuality when it comes to trans women, and I've never dated as a trans woman, so I probably am lacking a lot of experience to talk about this, so I'm treading very lightly on this topic. Dating a trans woman doesn't make a man gay. It might not make them 100% straight as we know it, but sexuality is a spectrum. But there's also the thing as well. So again, I'm leaving that conversation there open to interpretation because it's a really hard conversation to have. Let me know what you think in the comments about that bit there. With the whole trans women dating a man, and obviously, what does it make them? I don't know, because me and Liam get this question all the time, and it's a hard question to answer. There's also the point that there is still some stigma. Like, let's lay all our cards on the table. Let's be completely real here. There is stigma around men dating trans women. If a man dates a trans woman, his friends, his male relatives might look at him different. They might have something to say about it. Society might have something to say about it. And then you've got this huge TV show with a trans woman, and then the men dating her. People are gonna talk about it. It's gonna be the headlines. It's gonna be all over social media. It's gonna be a huge conversation. And then I think the men might worry, are they gonna be perceived a certain way that they don't want to be perceived? Do you know what I'm trying to say here? I think that might be something that puts them off dating. Like in real life, they might be attracted to trans women, they might date trans women, but in public, possibly a different story. Don't get it twisted though, like Cornhub, I hate talking about this, but Cornhub, if you know, you know, their top 3rd most watched category is trans women. So it's prevalent. Men do find trans women attractive, but whether it's public or not, I don't know. And because it's a very public show, they're all young men in the early 20s. Not saying they're immature, but I was immature when I was in my early 20s. And I just think that mixed with being on a big TV show, mixed with today's culture war, I'm unsure how it would play out. I don't know if we're there yet. But then also part of me is like, but we should be there. Do you know what I mean? I'd be really interested to know. I know I've gone really back and forth there. I do want to watch another video though before we go. But it's a really, like, I'm so split. And like, I know I always say I'm half on the fence here, I'm half and I'm not. And sometimes I lean more one way and sometimes I lean more the other. But this, I'm genuinely like right in the middle. I don't know if it would be a good thing or a bad thing. I think there's good pros and cons to it. Anyway, let's watch the video. I've talked a lot of yapping. What was that? Anyway.
A transgender girl's getting ready to enter the Love Island villa this summer. Love Island is 2 months away. And the bosses are in talks with this baddie, Michelle Roscoe, who is a recruitment advisor. She was born a boy, that of course makes her a transgender woman. Sources basically said that, look, Love Island is constantly looking for ways to evolve with the times, move forward, and they have met with Michelle about the possibility of her entering that villa this summer. Absolutely gorgeous, very much suits the show, and they are in talks. If Michelle enters the villa this summer, this would make her the first transgender contestant to enter in Love Island history. Guys, I can't lie, I'm here for it. She's stunning, she's a baddie. I think the guys would love her. I've already seen some people on social media say, are we really there yet? Guys, one thing I've realized about life in society is people are often scared of what they don't know and they don't understand. Well, I think Michelle being on TV would educate a lot of people. So this will be a great thing. What do you think? What are your opinions? Let me know what you think in the comments.
Didn't agree with everything he's talking back at me. Didn't agree with everything that I said, but I agreed with some of the things. It's really hard. So, obviously this is where we were. This was all the news like a few days ago. By the time you guys see this, it might be a week or so after. But anyway, the cast list was announced. Mimi's name was not on the cast list. So I think some people were disappointed that she wasn't going in seemingly. As you might know with reality TV, you have your initial cast members go in and then you have some sort of wild card people coming in throughout the series to spice things up. So all the couples might get settled and they'll throw in a few more girls, a few more guys, and it just makes his show really entertaining basically. There is still rumours going around that she might come in at a later date. Let's have a look. Many were disappointed when her name didn't appear on the official list of contestants last week. Then it has a list of contestants. However, as all Love Island fans know, that's not the end of the story. To shake things up, showrunners regularly introduce wildcards called bombshells to mix things up a bit. Last night, for example, the villa was rocked by the arrival of its first bombshell, Antonia Lates. At the time of filming, I think we're about 3 or 4 days into Love Island being out on TV and being filmed live. It's filmed and then goes out, filmed and then goes out. So Michelle Roscoe, Mimi Roscoe, there is still speculation that she could make an appearance, which would be, again, double-edged sword here, I think. Great representation, great visibility. How would it go? We don't know. I don't know. Anyway. So, I did some Instagram digging. So I thought, if they're filming Love Island right now, they would have cast all 12. Then they would have cast their bombshells. They would have these bombshells ready in a hotel somewhere nearby. So if they needed to insert them into the show, if it's getting a bit boring, if they wanted to spice things up, they'd be there ready. I have done some digging on social media today. I've spent an hour looking through Mimi Roscoe's Instagram and TikTok, and I'll just explain what I found. I thought there would be radio silence. If someone was about to go on reality TV, generally their accounts go quiet. I looked on Instagram first. Last post was 14th of May. That was the last picture, so quite a while ago. Last reel, I don't know if you can see that. It was the 12th of May. So I thought that's quite a while ago. There was nothing on a story earlier this month. So I thought, okay, she could be there. Let's flip over to TikTok because you know we've got to check all the socials. I then found this, I feel like a detective. I then found this video on TikTok, which is just Mimi and a friend talking about going to the Fuse Festival in London. So she was in London around 3 or 4 days ago, which is when the show started to be filmed. So then I thought, oh, maybe this is not happening. We're getting there. But then 17 hours ago, she posted this video of her dancing poolside, and it looks to be like she's abroad. So then I was like, oh my gosh, is she not? But I kind of feel like if you're about to go on social media, would you be allowed your phone? I don't know. So then I went back to Instagram. I've been a full-on sleuth today. She has a story of her dyeing her hair. However, just from this picture alone, I think that looks like an English house. I don't know why. She's been in England recently. I don't know if the video of her dancing by the pool was old. That to me looks very, very British. Let me know what you think. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it. I've clearly got too much time in my hands. So that's where we are right now. This poor girl must think I'm stalking her. Please don't meme me if you ever see this. I love you. You're fabulous. She did put out a statement saying that she's strong and loving life, like quite a while ago when all the negativity came in, because it obviously has come in with some negativity. The trolls have come in at her. She just put out a statement saying that she's happy and content, roughly. I can't find it anymore. I saw it this morning as I've been digging and digging around. What are your thoughts? Oh, sorry. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think it would be received well or bad? How do you think it would go? I don't know. I want to say, yes, this is great, let's do it. But then I also don't want it to end badly for her and make her feel bad and put her in a difficult situation with a lot of eyes on her, judging her, trolling her. And then I also wouldn't want the men to feel pressured to date her or them get disowned by the nation for being transphobic just because they're not attracted to it. It's such a nuanced topic. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video, please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I post 2 videos every week of me, and then we also have the podcast, The Blake Debate, with me and my partner Liam. We post 1 video every 2-ish weeks. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!